Good evening, sunshines. I hope that is it Saturday right now? Saturday is going great. We are here to talk to you about some pretty huge changes that have been happening lately. We are moving, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. But first, Adam, what are we doing here?
Well, there's a lot that's happened since the last live stream.
That is definitely true.
That's an understatement.
Month and a half has been probably the most wild ride of our lives. We got the school wedding ready. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen our last two YouTube videos, you absolutely should, because Adam did such a great job editing them. He did amazing. I think those are two of the best videos that have ever been put out on this channel. So
thank you.
The school got wedding ready, and you quit your job.
Yeah.
Which is we're spoiling every cliffhanger we've had right now, but there we are. And we released videos about them. And why don't you tell me about what it was like? What's your first month of working at AOAT Central been like?
It's been great. I mean, it's pretty awesome to be able to jump into like a channel that has like a viewership, like such a high viewership, and kind of learn on the fly as much as I had. Like, I realized that's a pretty unusual thing, and quite a cool thing to do. But editing the videos was awesome. I learned quite a bit about editing pretty quickly.
Adam is, he calls himself Adam of no trades, and I would say that is still correct about most like physical trades, but he's very, very intelligent and very good at especially technological things. Like literally the fact that I can barely check my email, he's been basically like enabling my ineptitude for so long, because I'm just like, I can't just fix it for me for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So he picked it up quick.
Yeah. I was pretty proud of the two videos so we did the goat video. That was my first one. And then we did the admitting failure one, which was good.
And we talked about the permitting issues that we are now facing with the school, which is, getting it wedding ready was amazing. But now we literally cannot do any more work on it for the, hey, stop kicking the table. We literally cannot do any more work on it legally for the foreseeable future. So that's kind of what we're now having to navigate, which is what that video is about. And then...
so then the wedding video, which was awesome. Originally, the videos actually were one video, those two.
Well, actually, it was technically supposed to be three, but we compromised it too. And speaking of compromise, that is the other big thing that's been going on. Like, it's been a adjustment working together. It had its like ups and downs. The thing is, we work as a team, a creative team together so well. When we met, we played music together, we wrote albums, songs, but funnily enough, it's also the thing that makes us fight the most, because the creative process, I broke up with Adam when we were first dating because he had a four measures extra. Well, I thought it was extra in a song that I wrote of a guitar solo, and I was like, take that stupid guitar solo out, and he refused, and so I broke up with him. So that's where we're coming from with the creative process. So there's been some...
Yeah, definitely working with spouses is definitely very challenging.
And I would also say, too, that we're definitely not making things easier for ourselves, because I would say that that's actually a recurring theme with everything that I do anyway. Let's make this as hard as possible, because part of the reason that Adam quit his job was to save our marriage. And I would say 99% of people would say, don't try to fix your marriage by then also doing the hardest thing that you could possibly do, which is working together. But for us, it was like this or nothing kind of, because our biggest issue for our entire marriage has been that we didn't spend enough time together, because our lives and our work and our everything was so different.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. I do feel like the fights are getting less. They're getting quicker to resolve. I don't know how you feel though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like mostly because I would say probably I've decided to be less stubborn because productivity is really important to me. And I just like am unwilling to let that affect our productivity.
That's fair.
Also because I'm under an insane amount of pressure right now because, I mean, you quit your job. And so now like my business needs to generate 100% of our income. So that's like a different dynamic than we've ever had before. But anyway, that's going, I would say, better than expected. Even my mentor and one of the friends that I often seek wise counsel from was like, please do not do this, you guys. This is like going to be the nail in the coffin. I was like, well, we got to figure it out. So, and really the goal for me with us being able to do things creatively together is I really, really want to record another album together now that both of us have been out in the world. And like now that it's no longer, we wanted to do music together originally, but like back in the day, but we made what I think is the very wise choice to go and pursue other careers first.
Yeah.
Because I mean, so many, like the number of people that actually make it as musicians.
I think also living in Nashville kind of validates that decision.
Oh, 100%.
Because when you go out and about town, I don't know how many people have been in Nashville, but when you go about town, like everybody is better than you. Like I feel like I'm a fairly good musician.
Adam is being humble. He is the best musician in most rooms, even in Nashville. I will say definitively,
but
everyone is better than me.
But the thing is, everybody who lives in Nashville is like the best musician from their hometown, and then they moved here, and so it is definitely humbling living in Nashville. So I do feel like I made the right decision not pursuing music as a career, but as a first career. But I do think that this is a great video that we should pursue, where we try to write get something on Spotify or something.
Oh, absolutely, we're doing it because I was actually it's my birthday is coming up next week, and I asked Adam to get another record player because we are both such huge audiophiles that we like won't get something because we need it to be really nice sounding. But I was just like, no, I want like the cheapest, crappiest thing because I really want to listen to our records. We sold most of our stuff when we moved to Nashville, and that was one of those things that was kind of like higher dollar value things that we just couldn't afford to bring with us, and we really needed to just save as much money as possible.
So much space in the truck.
Yeah, that too.
That was the main constraint.
The other thing is, which we're going to be talking a ton about today, is like when you are making big leaps of faith and when you are trying new things or pursuing new dreams, there's certain sacrifices involved. And for us, I mean, when we first got married, a lot of our food was coming from the food bank. Like we had to kind of leapfrog our way to where we are now. And I think that's also what's made us able to do that is our willingness to, start fresh, sacrifice, tighten the belts and all those things. So we'll start talking about that in a little bit. But funnily enough, because Adam quit his job, this video is sponsored. And we seriously do so appreciate the Home Depot rentals program for sponsoring this video and also for lending us the piece of equipment that literally made it possible for us to get the building wedding ready. That's so hard to say.
You couldn't even say it in the video, too.
I know, but I was also, that is true. I really can't. But seriously, I mean, the experience that I had with Home Depot's rentals, like, I don't know if you've tried getting any equipment rented over the last couple of years, but it is a nightmare because construction is happening like bonanza everywhere. Also, so that means that like equipment is rented out everywhere. I've had so many issues, even just like reserving and securing a piece of equipment with Home Depot's rentals. I literally went to their website. I found the piece of machinery that I needed. I asked if it was available, and 15 minutes later, I got a phone call on my phone from someone who then handled the payment and the rental situation over the phone, and the machine arrived literally the next day, which is wild and has not been my experience throughout the rest of this building project. So they were awesome, like affordable compared to a lot of the other companies that I've worked with as I've been building, and the customer service was the biggest part. Also, I mean, those of you who know me know that I am so bad at technology. So literally the very fact that they called my cell phone and took the payment over the phone instead of me having to fill out some online paperwork or whatever was huge. Also, they brought it to the farm. They had an operator like unload it and teach me how to use it and made sure that I understood all the safety stuff. And then I was ready to go. So seriously, huge thank you to Home Depot Rentals, because we would not be speaking so fondly about our wedding memories had we not been able to caulk, paint, hang lights, like move everything, put in the last window, do all that. Like, it was wild, but we got there. So make sure you check out that video too. And thank you, Home Depot Rentals. Adam, back to you.
No, I think you said it well. We also rented out our house this last month for a filming of a movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So day after the wedding, like that was wild leading up to the wedding. Day after the wedding, we had to move out of our house temporarily. We went and stayed with our neighbors because we rented out our house to film a horror movie. And we'll talk more about that later. But not today, but someday down the line, because we will absolutely be going to the premiere, and I cannot wait to see our house. It was so funny. I mean, literally, they tell them about like the alpacas and stuff.
Oh yeah, so the alpacas were up at the house while they were filming, and the alpacas were very curious animals, and they were in like every shot, but which is cute. But I think the problem that they ran into is that like alpacas don't really understand continuity, and so they'd be in like one shot, and then they would set up they'd set up the cameras again for another shot of another angle, and the alpacas would move and they'd be in the other shot. So they'd be like jumping, they'd be like jumping from shot to shot, and I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh, I just saw, I can't read super well in this setting, but I just saw someone leave a comment that said, "Get the heck out of here. There's an Ann of all trades horror movie." Just to be clear, I am not in the movie at any point. It literally was just, we are, which we'll talk about more, but we are trying to figure out any and every way, because how can I speak English better? Because the building is delayed indefinitely. And because a big part of Adam's timeline and quitting his job when he did was because he was planning on being able to, generate, we were both planning on being able to generate money out of the building, but now the building is not going to be done.
I like
for a while.
Rojas Carpentry says, "I think the difference between your chairs are funny." I agree.
Also, very typical difference here.
This was intentional, though.
Was it really? Mm-hmm. Of course it was. Also, I just need everyone to know that Adam once again showed up with all of his ring lights and hung all of this artwork and everything. I walked in here and
it was
literally,
the white wall.
I was like, I'm gonna have to wear sunglasses during this thing, because he took a shower and he's like, "Hey, do you like my shirt?" And I was like, "What do you mean, do I like your shirt?" He picked out a shirt specifically for this. So this is the difference between him and me. I love it. Anyway, all of this to say that the reason we rented out the house, the reason all of this stuff is going on is because we had a surprising financial setback with the building and everything else. And so we are now trying to figure out how can we make this sustainable as we continue to be, stuck with our original plan. So how are we going to pivot and make this work? And so that kind of brings us to why we are moving. This is our new apartment. We are living in a 400 square foot apartment that is like my mom. We have this because my mom was living with us in 2020 and 2021 and part of 2022. She has now been able to return to Montana, and we are needing to rent out our house for, what's that face?
No, I'm just saying, to be clear, it's in the same.
Oh, yeah. It's attached, it's over the garage of our current house. And so we've moved into the mother-in-law apartment in our house so that we can rent out and do events and other things. So we've had actually a bunch of fun things. The movie was one. Then we also had our friends are the band Delta Ray, and so they have been having some local shows, and they've been doing their band practices down there. We've had a couple music videos filmed here, and we're basically just trying to scramble to make things work.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're gonna do some Q&A. You want to start dropping
yes,
questions in
do.
the comment?
Yes.
Then that'd be great.
Any questions, clarifications, etc.
Questions, comments, Clemens.
What was that last word?
Clemens. Questions, comments.
I've never heard that word before,
No.
but I don't really feel like it's a word.
His word.
A lot of people ask me, like, how do I get to do what you do? And a lot of times I'm like, well, are you sure you really want that? Because to be honest, I think it involves a lot more than what you think. In fact, actually, a little teaser for something that's coming up. Adam I had to go teach in Ohio last week, so I was away from the farm. This is the first time that I left Adam with full responsibility of both farm and business. And I will say that probably the best thing for our marriage, as far as I'm concerned, could have possibly happened, because he did such a great job. Like, you never expect people to care as much about the things that you care about as you do, and that has definitely been the case in the past. Like the animals, the homestead is not Adam's, it's not his choice. He wouldn't have chosen this for himself. But when I was gone, he did such a good job taking care of everything. He rose to the occasion in the biggest possible way, and I'm so proud of him and so thankful for that. But I was most thankful that like halfway through the week, he called me and he was like, listen, I had no idea like that you were doing all of this. And I literally don't know how you do it. Because like the funny thing is you weren't even doing all the things that I normally do. Like you weren't doing the cow milking and things because we were doing calf sharing and other things. So it's just like, it's very validating. I will say that it's just like, I do work really hard, but it's not so that anyone notices or so that anyone sees it. But it did mean a lot to me to have it, because like, I mean, literally, I am the world's worst time manager ever. And so I always try to do more than what's actually possible. And it isn't actually possible. So I'm constantly living in the state of feeling like I'm not doing enough or trying hard enough, or like in that defeat. I don't want to give away too much because there's a great video I think to be made about this week. But what I will say is I think there's a benefit in sometimes just knowing what people go through isn't enough, but like actually walking in their shoes is I think a interesting experience, and I think it is often eye-opening in a way that just knowing what people go through just can't really provide. So I think there's a really good video I think that will kind of go through the week that I'm actually really excited to start editing. But yeah. Great. Well, then stay tuned for that video because that's coming. And actually, speaking of things that are coming, we have for my patrons, the people that support me on Patreon, we have a behind the scenes like whole program that we share there. And it was really fun while I was gone, all the things that we shared on that behind the scenes thing. And so if you want to see more of kind of what it's like day to day here, if you want to like know more about the business, and a lot of times what I'll do, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen like that I love writing really long captions about the things that I'm thinking of. A lot of that stuff hits my Patreon audience first so that I can get feedback and see what people like think, is going on. I just also out of the corner of my eye saw a question that I'm going to quickly address is what is actually left with the school. And that is literally the entire exterior is done. The entire interior now needs to be done. So actually we have as far as building statistics go, we have 1/3 of the building completed, and now we still have 2/3 to go. So the most exciting outsideness is done because it looks like a complete building, but we are still we have electrical insulation, interior finishes, we have septic, we have to actually get electrical service, we have to get all the permits that are going to be required for that stuff we have to do.
There's a lot of questions about permits.
Oh, okay, great. Well, we'll talk about those then in a little while.
Okay.
But that was just, it popped into the.
But you're talking about the Patreon.
Yes. So, but the funny thing is, this all relates to that Patreon, because this is where I've been talking about this. Like, I mean, a few months ago, I was literally in a place where I just was like, I don't think, right before the wedding, actually, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, because I've been so, like, I really try to be positive all the time. I think that's the one thing that helps me manage it. It's almost like the thing that also gives me permission to try impossible things, to try to do too much, to do like all these things. But this building project has really taken so much out of me. Like, it's affected our marriage. It's affected my relationships with other people. It's just like, it's a lot, because there is like, it's a constant, like, it's already cost, we're 1/3 of the way done. It's already cost 5 times more than the full budget was planned for, which has just been wild to try to figure out how we're going to like keep paying the bills and everything. But then also just literally the emotional toll of like, every time I walk around the corner, go to my office or anything, it's like, it's the only thing I see all day long. And so all day long, it's a picture of you haven't finished, you tried and you didn't get there. And it's like, and now how, like, you know, at any point, like, should I be making phone calls? Should I be sending emails? Should I be ordering products? Should I be doing all these other things? It's just like, continue to live, like, and manage the farm and do all the other things that I need to do is so tough right now. So anyway, that's that. So the behind the scenes Patreon stuff is literally where we talk about all that stuff, and we can talk about it a lot more freely, because one thing that we can't talk about super publicly is exactly what's going on with all the permit stuff, because there's been just some really yucky stuff around it. So that stuff that's where we talk about it. It's on my Patreon. So if you want to support the project, if you want to support what we're doing here, we would love to have you join our Patreon crew, and then you can kind of be in the behind the scenes know as well, if you would be. So
yeah, no, it's a fun little community.
Yeah, what I like the most actually is because, I mean, I don't like talking about like numbers or anything. Like, when people send me messages, I try to reply to as many messages as possible. Like, for like, until very recently, I replied to literally every message on every platform. It just became unrealistic. But the cool thing for me about the Patreon thing is that it gives me the opportunity to actually follow people back, to see what they're doing, to interact with them on a regular basis. Like, it helps me to kind of cut through the weeds a little bit. Like, a lot of the people on Patreon are giving me suggestions for content that they would like to see me make. And of course, because they're financially supporting this channel, that's where we put our priority. And so it is really fun. And I think like the people, I mean, like actually a lot of our patrons have actually been to our house, like, you know, hung out with us, and that's just been really, really cool.
But yeah.
Anyway,
a lot of people want to know like about the permits. I don't know if we can say like what exactly the issue is.
Yeah, I mean, not publicly probably, but yeah, it's just been some laws have changed, some people have been difficult, some things have happened. We'll just so if you want to hear more about that stuff, I hate to like even put anything behind a paywall, because I know some people can't afford it. And honestly, if you really can't afford it and you really, really, really want to know, send me a message. We might be able to work something out. But really, the biggest thing is that we have to, a lot of that stuff has to, and also things on the farm too, because of, you know, the size of the viewership of some of my online channels. Like, a lot of the stuff that goes on the farm, we can't talk about, literally just because people are so yucky about stuff. And so it's like one of the only places that I can talk about a lot of the things that we're doing on the homestead. When we lived in Seattle, I had some huge issues with like some fairly militant vegans that, like, you know, caused us problems with the animals. And like, I mean, anyone who has been following along for a while should probably know that my animals are literally my entire life. I think I saw someone asking about George, my alpaca,
Rick Pie.
Yeah, I mean, my alpaca George has been sick, and I mean, like, I've literally been doing everything that I can. Like,
you want to talk about, like, somebody wants to know how he's doing.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't really want to talk about it because I don't really feel like crying, and I really want, like, I want this. I think he's, like, right now it's up to him. Like, he's got to choose how he's going to do, because I've done everything that we could possibly do, and beyond that, like, it's really up to him. So
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. Yeah.
It's kind of yucky right now, but yeah. Anyway, all that to say that I just did also want to say one funny thing. I'm going to on our private Patreon group. I'm going to be sharing. Adam actually 10 years ago had a viral video that he posted, has 291,000 views on it. And I promise you, unless you're as good at the internet as I am, you will not be able to find it unless you.
That was.
Oh, you know what?
15 years ago.
It was the night we met. That happened the night we met.
I mean, like YouTube had just come out.
Yeah. Anyway,
this is like early YouTube.
So if you want to see Adam's initial fame, long before I had a YouTube channel or anything else, that is one thing I will say.
You're gonna share it?
I'd be happy to put that behind a paywall because it's worth the money. So find me on Patreon, Anna of All Trades, and we will be sharing Adam's viral video this week. That's my one.
You're gonna share it?
Why not?
Okay.
It's incredible.
You're never gonna. There's
What's
no way
really amazing is that I fell in love with that. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Great. Okay. So have you been collecting some questions? Because it seems like there's a lot. And also, please keep asking questions. If there was anything that popped up while we were talking just now, we'd love to answer it. What?
James Williams says, I want to try and find it now. There's no way you can find it.
Good luck, James. But if you do, please respect the channel.
I will be impressed if you find it.
Yes, I will also be impressed, but please respect the channel and don't share it publicly because we want...
I mean, I guess it's possible. I can think of a few ways you can find it, but I would be very impressed if you found it.
Is your last name on it?
No.
See? There you go. Okay, good. But also, for whoever cares, we don't have the same last name, so good luck.
Yeah. It could be done, but it's like many degrees to figure out. Let's see. So Jeff Kohler asks, what are the steps you use to stay positive? Is it just your nature, or do you have some steps you use?
It is not my nature, in fact. I suffer massively with anxiety and clinical depression. And so one of the biggest ways that I've learned to combat that is not with false positivity, because that's toxic and it's garbage. But literally in everything, looking for the good, because I've been through some pretty crappy things in my young life, had to see some pretty awful things and be part of some pretty awful things. And so, I mean, one funny thing about that is that, like, in any situation you can choose to either laugh or cry. And so Adam always makes fun of me for laughing when I'm crying, because he says, for like smiling while I'm crying. But it's literally like, it's like something I just developed, that like, I'm still going to try to be positive and try to find the good thing. It's like, I'm the classic person who laughs at funerals, which is like, a lot of people think that's like really not great. But I mean, literally yesterday I posted a video on Instagram of me getting launched into space by my alpaca. And like, that could have been really death. And the number of near-death experiences, like genuinely near-death experiences that I've had, is phenomenal. But there is nothing that I find funnier than a blooper. And it's literally because in those situations, you could either laugh about it or you could cry about it. And I choose always to laugh about it, because who wants to cry? Sometimes you do a little both. I mean, anyone who's ever been around a toddler, which I'm basically just like a 5-foot tall toddler, knows that you can hold both of those things in the same space. But so the other thing too is that I really do, like, I focus a lot on gratitude, and I talk about this, but I have an alarm that's set on my phone. It goes off like during golden hour every day. And no matter what I'm doing, I stand up, I walk out of my office or go wherever I am, and I take a moment. And if I'm on the farm, I'll walk around the farm with my animals, and I will think of 10 things that I'm grateful for. But the kind of kicker is that I have to think about things that I'm grateful for that happened within the last 48 hours. And so even with that, knowing that I have to do that, and that I'm going to make an actual list and review that list, I am always on the lookout for those things, which really does help me change my perspective. And I mean, we can't always change our circumstances, but we can always change our perspective in the way that we view those things. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
how are you after being bucked off of the alpaca?
fine. I mean,
Because a few people asked.
oh yeah, I'm fine. I mean, the funny thing is, like I said, I'm unbelievably accident prone. Like, it is quite miraculous I'm still alive from so many things, not just that, but like the thing is, like, if you can still walk afterwards, I think I might have a couple bruises or something, but like, I'm fine. And I share that stuff not to get sympathy, literally, because I'm like, I got the wind knocked out of me so bad I couldn't even breathe, and I was like, Adam, as soon as I could, he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, sounded really, really worried, and I was like, "It's okay." And then I was like,
you had a needle in your hand too. I was like, I hope you just didn't inject yourself with that.
Yeah, well, I was like, the first thing I said was, Adam, you better have got that on camera. Because then I sent it to my dad, who taught me how to laugh about this stuff. And my dad like died laughing too. And he was like, "This is the best way to start my morning." I was like, I agree. So I'm fine. And hopefully George will be too. But like I said, it's just up to him.
Yeah. Keep the questions coming. Was simplifying to fit in the new space hard?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk hugely about that.
We didn't really talk about
so here's the funny thing. When we moved to Nashville, we sold almost everything that we owned to be able to pay for the move. And so we didn't actually have a ton of stuff anyway. Like, the real stuff is in my wood shop and, in like with our farm equipment and stuff like that. So like, I only have like a small suitcase of clothes and stuff anyway. I wear the same thing most days. And Adam has a lot of clothes, which we do have to make a little bit of space in the closet to be able to fit them. But, I've lived a lot of different places. I lived in Taiwan for much of my adult life. And, that apartment was the same size as this one. We had a lot more people living in it. So, I think anytime it's my mom always says that it's life is best lived flexible, adaptable, and out of control. And so if we're flexible and adaptable, we can kind of make space for anything. And I did actually want to talk a little bit about, how we make things work financially. Because like, I think that that's something a lot of people, are curious about. People who want to do, maybe they don't want to have a homestead and 80 animals per se, but maybe they want to, figure out how they could quit their job. The way that I have done all of this, Adam said that I shouldn't talk about Dave Ramsey because apparently there's some kind of controversy going on. But I don't know. But the thing is, I've used Dave Ramsey's Money Matters system from day one. The biggest thing that I think is important if you want to, if you want to take some steps and make some changes, is like, the first thing we've got to do is get out of debt. So we figure out any and every like expendable expense that we can get rid of or consolidate. And when we were, when I was trying to like buy my first tools, like I found my first tool literally in the garbage. I fixed it and I sold it on Craigslist for a little bit more. And I did that about 300 more times to leapfrog my way into getting a better tool set, until I finally actually had a working tool set of my own. I would say that the biggest thing, if you're trying to like make a change, is to never to just assure yourself that you're never too good to do anything. So I've always known, if my business doesn't work out, if I fail, I will be able to find a job tomorrow if I have bills that have to be paid, because I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Like I will wash toilets, I'll work at McDonald's, like I'll do literally anything. And knowing that, I think, is what's given us the confidence to do stuff like this. Like, even when Adam quit his job, it was like, he was not sure if he felt good about doing that. And I was like, why not? Because like, if we run out of money, you are smart, you're talented, you could go get another job. Like, it might not be the same kind of job that you had before, but like, you're not too good to do anything. Yeah. Although he has at times been too good to do a few things around the farm.
Like what?
Remember your like DuPont paint suit you used to wear when you would like go into the chicken coop? Like, It was like a hazmat suit.
Well, we've automated that.
I mean, kind of. I mean, he could play music, as someone just suggested. He could, go he could go to a contract service and get some contract work. Like literally both of us are willing to do whatever it takes to be able to make this happen. And when I first quit my job, what I did was I saved up 6 months worth of money by literally spending no money. We never went out. I would find odd jobs and after work to do, and took on extra things as for 3 years. I'd saved up 6 months worth of money. And I was like, at the end of this 6 months, if I don't have any money left, then I'll go get another job and then I'll try again. And I did that once. I had to go get another job. I worked for another 3 years. And then I tried it a second time. And in 2018, I quit. And I've been doing this ever since. And so, I mean, shoot, when I was in Ohio, I shot a wedding. I photographed it, just to be clear. I mean, it's 2022. Sometimes we have to clarify those things. But one of the greatest things that you can do is to use whatever skills you have, whether they're related to the thing you want to do or not, to finance the things that you want to do. And that's literally the only way I've made my own business work. Like, a lot of people who follow me may not know that I do a ton of marketing, photography, and consulting for larger companies. And that's how we pay the majority of the bills right now, is that, I'm taking like the pictures that you see in like the advertisements in the middle of the aisles and things like that. That's one of the things that I do. It's like tangentially related.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's all going to be fine. I think that if we can work together well, it's going to work. I mean, it's just a matter of navigating, like working together well, and good things will happen. Like, I'm not super worried about that kind of stuff, but it's just because I know if, we put the right energy in the right places, that good things will happen.
Well, that's actually a really good point that I think a lot of people don't really understand. It's like a lot of people don't understand where to put their energy. So, I really don't love doing marketing consulting. It's not like something that really just ignites my fires, but it is also where I can have the highest contribution for the least amount of time and effort. Because I am not in a position where I can grow enough lettuce or, sell enough yogurt at the farmer's market to pay for having a farm this close to Nashville and, having both of us work together and all that stuff. It's just, I don't want to only grow lettuce. I don't want to only sell eggs, and to be able to do things on like that to the scale that we'd have to be able to pay the bills in the same way. Like, I love saying this, but everyone has to eat some flavor of poo sandwich in life. And
you got to pay your dues.
You got to pick which flavor of poo you're going to eat. And for a lot of us, it's like, okay, for me, my most marketable skill is that I came from the marketing world in corporate before I was doing this. This is the one thing that I really have that I can actually help and contribute and add value. And so I can spend a smaller fraction of my time doing that and actually make enough money to make the other things work, that it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Strength Finders book.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it talks, the core idea is talking about finding your strength and then leaning into that. If you do that, then things are easy. You can do great things easily that other people have to expend phenomenal amounts of energy to do mediocre. The trick is you just have to find out what that thing is for you that you can do great things with low to medium effort. I think that's the trick.
Yeah.
With all of this, if we could just figure out what levers to pull and what buttons to push, that's the maximum amount of what we want to do with a medium to amount of effort. I think that's going to be the trick.
Well, and funnily enough, that's actually, people here have watched this whole kind of thing unfold, but before Adam quit his job, I actually was about to quit YouTube. So funnily enough, I had made what I thought was going to be my last YouTube video. And then I asked Adam, what do you want to do if you quit your job? And like, then we realized the building wasn't going to happen. I was like, what should we do if we're going to try to do this? And he said, he was the one who said YouTube. So he picked that he wanted to keep doing YouTube together. And like, that's awesome. And I'm like really excited to do that together. It just was kind of a surprise to me, and also like surprising because I mean, part of the reason I was about to quit is because it was taking me 80 hours. Like I don't know if there's a video on my channel to date that has taken me less than 40 hours, but most videos were taking me 80 hours to make, and I was making them every week on top of trying to do everything else. And it was like an insane amount of effort. And I just was like, this just isn't sustainable anymore. And I don't have the ability to split my focus enough to like, you know, only make one video a month or anything like that. Cause it's just like, no matter what, at the end of the month, I'm now trying to fit this whole thing into like 80 hours into a couple days, and it just didn't work. So Adam coming along with the YouTube thing was huge for us being able to continue, because he was like, what I'm going to do is figure out a way that we can make this happen along with everything else in an easier and more sustainable way. And so, I mean, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, because the funny thing is one of our main arguments has been like, Adam, you cannot spend this much time doing this. We cannot afford to have you spend this
on
much
the video editing?
Well, the video editing and the thumbnails and like just like YouTube, like we can't afford to have him only do YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, therein lies a funny thing.
Okay.
We were gonna play a song. Okay, so we were going to have this be a part of our regular live streams, that we would play a song at the end of it. We did it last time, and then our video got demonetized. And so, I mean, it's like kind of funny, but I mean, literally we only make like, which also seems to be a misconception with YouTube anyway. We make about $40 for every video we make. So like there has to be something
Plus
else.
Minus,
Yeah, plus or minus. Like, I mean, obviously if a video does phenomenally well, like my best performing video of all time, I got $5,000 for it over 5 years. But, you know, like it's YouTube, I don't think is the money machine that a lot of people think that it is. No. Just on its own.
AdSense on its own isn't gonna pay it.
Yeah. So like I was like, you know, I really hope Brandy Carlisle enjoys the $40 that she took from us.
It's okay.
For the last video.
The 3% of people who watched it at the end.
Yeah,
I hope they enjoyed it.
I really hope that those people enjoyed it. But so like we decided that on this video we weren't going to sing a song because we need that $40 right now.
Yeah. But yeah. No, I think it's good. Like the thing is with the last 3 videos that I edited, we definitely like had some conversations where you're like it can't take this long every time, which is true. I mean, I think like on the wedding video, I really spent like a ton of time on that one.
And it shows. I mean, it's such a good video.
But my defense with the whole thing was like, I'm literally never used this software. And so it was like, this is not going to always be like this. I'm literally just kind of like figuring out how some of this works. But I think I hope it goes faster next time. Also, like videos like that are complex to pull together, like weeks of footage into one thing.
Oh, it wasn't just weeks. That was footage of
the emitting failure was years of footage.
Yeah.
Like I was literally digging through hard drives and just watching clips all day.
But that has to happen faster.
It does have to happen.
One thing.
But the thing is, like in the future, I will be around to film a lot of that stuff. So I'll know where stuff is.
True. One funny thing though, that is also an argument is someone asked if you can get your job back. No, he can't, because if he does, we will get divorced. I mean, the thing is, it was so stressful. It was so like, it took everything out of him. And like, he was very good at it. Like he was very successful at it, but it left nothing else for us. Like for us, our relationship, he was like never able to be around the farm. He had no idea. Like literally the first week that he worked with me, he was like, oh my God, this is what you do? Like, what? Because literally it had been 10 years of like ships passing in the night. So he could get a similar job if he really wanted to, but I don't think he wants to.
No, I mean, I'm kind of a personality who, whatever I put my energy to, I'm going to give it 100%. Actually, more than 100%.
That's what I liked about him.
I'm like going to go at pretty hard, and so like I did that with my last job at Amazon quite a bit, and I did well. It was great, but it doesn't. I just don't have the intuition or the tendency to leave anything else for anything else. So it's just not good. As much as I tried not to do that, it ended up happening quite a bit. So
yeah.
What
else is happening over there?
Do
you want to tell a story about anything? Oh, well, you read those for 1 second. I'll say one little update about the farm that's really exciting. We just got a bull. His name is Mike Tyson because he has a very high-pitched voice. His moo, I kid you not, is like, woo! Like, I literally, when I heard him moo the first time, I was like, what is that sound? So we're really excited about that. That solves 1,000 little problems that we've had. So my dairy operation, my beef operation, this is like a big, big step for us. Also a step that we once tried before and failed miserably. And that little boy had to go to freezer camp because
camp?
Because, well,
what?
He was.
Is that what people call it?
He was threatening me in the field. I couldn't handle that, so I couldn't go in my own yard. But anyway, so we have a very docile, very nice boy who's here now. So that's great. And so Mike Tyson's here. He's gonna get maybe a Maybelline. My Dexter cows. He will service them. And then we'll be able to test to make sure they're pregnant in a couple months. We have 4 calves.
People love freezer camp.
Oh, good. I'm so sorry, and for everyone. We have 4 calves. Tyler has 4 calves that are due. Dairy calves that are due in October and November. So we'll be back in the milk business. I mean, we're still currently in the milk business, but we'll be back in it big time in a couple months.
Chris asks, how did you finally desync Rigby?
Oh my gosh. Here's another sweet, sweet blessing of our move to the apartment. No, because I don't want to give too much away about the video that Adam will be releasing, but while I was gone, Rigby got sprayed by a skunk, and Adam thought that it was a good idea to let him back in the house before he had bathed him, and then just put him in the house, still having not bathed him, for another 3 days. And our house is now ruined. So we will be burning it down and collecting the insurance. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
everything's fine.
Everything, well, to you, but I cannot be in there right now without dry heaving. And so anyway, the great thing about the apartment is that it's separate. And so I made Adam sleep in the house as punishment.
Which because she said that I smelled like skunk.
Yes, he did too. If you even go in the house, it also smells like skunk in there. So in answer to your question, no, he has not. Even though we have exactly the toolkit that's needed, but I refuse to do it because it's not my problem.
Yeah.
So we all know what Adam will be doing after this live stream.
That's
Don't
true.
we?
People want to know why you don't outsource your video editing.
That is a great question. Over the last 7 years that I've been making online content, actually that's been 10 years, but 7 years for videos. I have worked with over 40 editors. And the truth of the matter is, literally just because the way my brain works and also just the chaos of everything, it's more often, basically always more work working with video editors than it is for me just to do it myself. And it's not because I'm a control freak. The funny thing is, literally Adam, he's like, do you want, I was like, no, I don't even want to be a part of it. You just do whatever you think is going to be good or whatever. But it just hasn't ever really worked to work with video editors. I have a couple that I can go to, but ultimately what it came down to last year was a financial thing. When I had a whole bunch of things that YouTube, that was tangentially related to YouTube, that were generating income, it was no big deal to spend $300 to $400 per video to have it edited, but that's literally what it costs, and that's on the low end. And that was involving so much of my own time to edit those as well that it just literally went from a financial standpoint.
I'm biased because this is literally what I'm doing. So I'm going to be biased.
Yeah, Adam doesn't want me to outsource his job, so that's why we're not doing it right now.
I'm biased, but I just didn't think they did a good job. It is good a job as like they could. Well, I think the product turned out good, but like the back and forth.
It required ridiculous. So much of me like being part of it, and again, not because I'm like super exacting.
I mean, those services are great. Don't get me wrong, but like you have to be really organized to make that work. Like with like footage and then getting feedback very timely, and I don't think it worked super well.
It doesn't work super well. Also, just like because of like who I am and how I operate. So like the thing is, a lot of those things, it's like you have to like sit down at your computer and like give the feedback, and like it has to happen within a certain time period. And like I like with the chaos of the farm and everything else, like I can never really guarantee that I will be available to give feedback within this certain time frame or like whatever else, or that I'm gonna have the mental acuity to be able to do it when I actually have time and those things. Oh my gosh, Adam's just I don't again know how technology works, but Success Finder sent us $4.99, and I don't know how that works, but thank you so much for that. And then North Shore PX, thank you for reading, sent New Zealand $50. That's really awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. That's awesome. What other questions are? What are we editing with?
I'm using Final Cut Pro.
And that's actually another funny thing because I did wedding photography, and I do the like marketing photography and stuff like that all the time. So Premiere would have been a natural choice to be able to use it with Lightroom and all like Adobe products, but because we use Mac computers, because I can barely check my email and everything's like very user friendly and everything is like drag and drop type files. I've always used Mac software. I mean, that's what I use for music editing, for video editing.
How do you pick?
Because it's easy.
How do you pick the projects you're going to highlight on the channel? I think we have this conversation a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Let me just direct your answer a little bit.
You can just give the answer if you want.
Well, Ann and I have this conversation a lot about like what are the videos or what are going to be like what's going to happen on our Instagram. But I think as much as possible, we want them to be actually like in the flow of like what you're already doing, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so up to like when I was doing everything on my own all the time, up till fairly recently, it was always like I used YouTube the same way I used Instagram. It was actually an accountability tool. So for Instagram, when I started my account, it was not about gaining followers or gaining likes. It was proving to myself that I could do something consistently every single day. And I had made like a pact with myself that I was going to post on Instagram every single day, which then incidentally helped me to do something that I felt was like quote unquote Instagram worthy every single day, which also made me feel better about myself and helped me to prioritize and manage my time a little bit better. Yeah. And then when I started doing YouTube, I literally did the same thing. I was like, I filmed what I needed, what I absolutely had to get done that week. And then by the end of the week, it had to get done because I had to release my weekly YouTube video. And so that helped me just with my own life management a lot, except for the fact that it also really hurt me with my life management because like I would do whatever it took to finish the project.
Yeah.
And that stuff. So, and it also made the channel be like, wah, 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 wah. Like this week we're putting a train horn on the golf cart. This week we're doing, we're working on my mini bike and like whatever.
Well, I totally get it. Like I was going back to the week that you were out of town where I was like doing what you were doing. Like the goal was to do everything you were going to do. And like, I think and I'm not like spoiling what happened, but like one of the things that was interesting to me was how distracting social media is. Like, it's just always something that you have to be thinking about. And like people are always messaging you. And like, it is a little bit addictive too. you know, like when people are messaging you, you're kind of interacting. It's like super fun, and people are watching your stuff. And I mean, you have like, I have like 4,000 followers. You have 20. You have like an ungodly amount compared to what I was dealing with. But it's extremely distracting to try to like actually do things. So I can understand why you have a desire to like have that still be in the flow of what you're doing. Otherwise, it's like it is very difficult to split focus.
Yeah, splitting focus is really hard. I mean, no matter what you're doing or who you are, splitting focus is hard. Like one thing that like it is super distracting for him because he has his notifications on, which I turn my notifications off. Like literally, remember I said it was an accountability tool and nothing else.
Well, because until recently, I had like friends and family. It was like Instagram and stuff, but
yeah,
so it wasn't notifications were on. So
yeah, but for me, it was like I am so pleased to be able to talk to people, but like that wasn't the goal. Like I'm not the kind of person that refreshes to see how many likes something got or if it has comments or anything like that, because that's not the motivation. Wasn't that for me. And so like it was easy for me. I never once had notifications turned on. Like
it's smart. I mean, I think that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Is to like time block your social media. Otherwise it's just like this constant like drug.
Yeah.
Not good.
Literal dopamine hits, seeing likes and follows and those kinds of things. And he did such a good job posting and everything. Like he was funny and amusing and fun to watch while I was gone doing all those things. And I mean, his follower count grew hugely while I was gone. So that is what happens.
It can get very addictive.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the other thing is that like people that ask me, like, how do I have time to do the things that I do? Like one of the big things when I'm helping people reprioritize how they're spending their time is I have them like really, really look at how they're using social media and their phones and electronic devices anyway, and really limit that and do time blocking specifically. So like I answer comments and questions like in a specifically blocked out period of time. I answer emails. I only check my emails during certain time blocks because I don't like what will happen is that if we're not careful, an unconscious choice will be made for us. If we allow other people's, schedules and other people's wants and desires and the things that they're asking for us, if we let emails dictate how our working day goes, we're literally chasing a never-ending target. And so time blocking and prioritization is the only way to make any of this work.
Yeah, I think you have to. And then also it's like, I think that, and you and I talk about this a lot, but it's like, there's so many hours in the day, but there's also only so many like
good hours.
Yeah. And like hours where you have like the energy to do stuff. Like there's 16 waking hours, right? But in reality, there's probably like 7, if that, like actual, like where you actually have like the emotional energy to do anything.
Most people it's 4.
Yeah, that's probably right. And then the thing is like social media kind of takes away from that energy.
It totally can.
It just like it can like take well then also what I realized that week too is the animals take a lot of that away because it's extremely distracting.
Yeah, but also, I mean, you also have to think about the difference in our personalities there too, and because like they're like life-giving to you, but they're like life-stealing to me. Yeah. Well, some of the animals. His complaints about the animals, like we actually do fight about this quite a lot because of like the funny thing is he's actually more positive than I am about most things, but like about the animals, he's literally like, if there's like a minor inconvenience to him, he's like, get rid of it. And I'm like, well, it's you paint me pretty poorly there, but I'm just very attuned to what animals like are giving life to the balance, to your balance. No, to like the balance of the other animals. We agree to disagree there. Some also, animals are jerks. Love Meeply. I know who you're talking about with the jerks right now, and that's incorrect, sir. It's incorrect. Love Meeply just gave us $2. Thank you so much. That's very nice. Thank you. Yeah. He's talking about my favorite alpaca right now, Ringo, who is a jerk, but he is also the cutest of the three, and also my favorite one, and for a lot of good reasons. And Adam's like mildly inconvenienced by Ringo on occasion, and therefore is constantly talking about how he's like a monster.
He chases Rigby.
Rigby deserves it.
He does not.
Yes, he does. He antagonizes him. He sits there like breathing loudly. Rigby thinks that animals can throw his ball for him, so he'll bring his ball repeatedly and drop it in front of the other animals, and then bark at them because they're not throwing his ball for them. And it's like, I would kick you too.
No, it's Rigby.
I mean, I would never kick Rigby. I love him so much, but like, he's a pest and inconvenience to me more often than not. Currently, literally stinking up my entire house. I cannot even go into my own home. And have I said anything about Rigby needing to go? I have not.
There's only a few animals, but maybe there's
8 animals.
Maybe
there's 8 animals.
No. There's only a few animals I have a problem with. But maybe this is our next live stream where we rank them.
We're gonna rank our animals, and also we are going to be.
And I have great reasons for the ones that are at the bottom, and I'd love to explain.
Disagree, but okay. But anyway. We are going to be broadcasting in 2 weeks from Adam's special project. He, during 2020, used his very precious limited time from outside of work building a tiki hut.
This is a source of much conflict at the time, actually.
Building a tiki hut, which now we both enjoy immensely. But anyway, so we're going to be broadcasting. We're going to have tiki time. It's a Disney experience. It's I'm not sponsored and not TM'd. It's a children-friendly animated tropical themed gazebo that we will be broadcasting from there and ranking our animals. So if you want to see us get on in a huge fight online, please tune in for that. And in between, check out the video that he's going to make.
I have a very well-reasoned arguments for the bottom animals on my list.
Just give us a sneak preview. What's like the absolute bottom?
The worst one?
Yeah.
I think there's a handful of.
He's speaking carefully because he knows we're about to end the live and we're going to fight about it in a second.
There's a handful of barn cats that are.
Handful? That's a handful?
There's 3 specific barn cats that I do not like.
We'll be discussing that later. Okay, well, it's been an hour and we so appreciate you taking the time to come into our home and letting you into your homes. And please, like I said, if you wanna see the behind the scenes stuff, you can check out our behind the scenes Animal Trades Patreon page. You can check out the last few videos that Adam's done. Oh, Christ-centered Ironworks just gave us $10, but also you are the best. And here's a fun thing: we have a little collab that we will be doing. They make a bunch of blanks for blacksmithing, and they just sent me some. And so as soon as I can get some time to forge again, we are going to be forging a pan, a little frying pan, and some other fun stuff that they sent. So thank you so much for that. And Leslie Landless, you are the best. Thank you so much. So we will see you all again. Sorry about the lack of song.
Cats are the best creatures on earth.
Yeah, I agree. And also, we will be having a conversation about that. But also, he is constantly complaining about them, and for very funny reasons. And so we will be talking about that.
That'll be the next live stream.
Yeah.
We'll rank them from. There's around 10 different animals on the farm, so we'll both give our list. Maybe it will be like, what's that TV show?
You're only one of us has time to watch TV, and it's not me.
I don't know, whatever.
But great. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. But stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, you should be, because we want you to stick around. We want to know what you want to see on the channel. We want to know like how you're thinking. So like if you're watching our videos, please leave comments. It helps us in our search rankings, but it also helps us to know like what was boring, what was fun, what do you want to see more of? We want to know that stuff because the thing is, like, the thing that I don't like about making videos or social media or anything is I need to have a reason to be sitting in front of a screen. And if it's not humans that I'm actually talking to on the other side of it, like, I don't know, it's not good for me. So we want to be making videos for real humans. So talk to us, be our friends. We'll see you all soon. Cheers.